Good morning, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm just feeling, you know, what do they usually call? I'm feeling kind of tired. I
Tired?
don't, I don't know the right word for it, but I'm just feeling really tired, and I guess I got up on the wrong side of the bed.
Okay. Okay. Kind of like half asleep and just woke up.
Yeah, I did. I just woke up a couple minutes ago.
Gotcha. I get that. I'm not much of a morning person, so I understand, and I completely appreciate you waking up to meet with me for our session this morning.
Of course.
How's your week going?
I've been having a hard time getting to class
Okay.
and getting up in the morning.
hmm Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I talked to, you know, I talked in coaching about maybe my medication, my muscle relaxers, or my allergy medicines affecting it. But then, you know, I have to look into that and maybe go to the doctors. But then I have to, I talked in coaching about it.
Okay. Before we keep talking, I'm sorry, Julie. Do you mind actually turning your camera on so I can see you?
Oh, sure. Let me find it.
Thank you. It should just be in the lower spot on Zoom. Next to where it says mute, it should say start video.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, great. Thank you. Good morning. Now I can see you. Awesome. So you said you spoke during with your professor. Who did you speak to during your coaching? I'm sorry.
I guess you could call her my advisor.
Your advisor. Okay, great. And you mentioned that your medications might be making it hard for you to wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and she told me to talk to my doctor, I think,
Okay.
about it. But some of them are over the counter, some of them are prescription.
hmm
So I have to figure that out because it's so hard to get up. And then my neighbors upstairs make noise all night long and sleep during the day and then stay up all night and make noise all night.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they're like on the opposite schedule as you.
Yeah, and they have a young toddler. I forget. I think he's 5 now, so he's very loud when I'm trying to go to
Oh
bed.
goodness. I get that. Where I lived in my last apartment, I had a very loud neighbor as well. So it can be tricky trying to sleep if they're making noise. Um, but sometimes you can actually communicate with them if you have ever met them before, or sometimes you can even reach out to your landlord. Um, See if you can touch base and just let them know, depending on what the hour is, right? So if they're being really loud at like a certain hour, of the day where it's kind of normal to be awake, like maybe 2 in the afternoon, um, that might be something you just kind of have to work around. Versus if they're really, really loud at like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, that's not really reasonable, right?
Is that what you did it when you had that problem?
I did actually. I reached out to my landlord. I tried if I ever saw them out of the apartment. So if they were, in the hallway or like outside of the building, I would try to keep an eye out for them, but I never really saw them. So I reached out to my landlord and let them know, and also asked if they had any suggestions for, what I could do or how I could communicate with them.
Yeah, I guess I could try that. I don't think I've ever met them, or sometimes I see them coming and going, but I never felt, you know, I guess I don't know the right word. I never felt like I could talk to them.
Yeah, it can definitely be uncomfortable. Would that
Yeah,
be a
it's
word you can describe
uncomfortable,
it? Yeah. hmm
very uncomfortable.
hmm So, when did you have coaching with your advisor when she mentioned to speak to your doctor about the medications?
Earlier this week.
Okay. And have you reached out to your doctor yet?
Not yet. I have to do that, and I have to do a couple other things. I've missed class. I've missed tutoring. I missed a couple of things.
Okay. So we might start working on a to-do list if that's okay with you. Can just put a few things on it. We'll go over it more towards the end, but I don't know about if you've used them before, but for me, to-do lists can help me really keep track of things that I have to get done. They help me stay on task, and then it actually feels really good when you can check them off your list.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I make lists and then it feels overwhelming. So I guess if I only do a couple things at a time, it might feel better.
Yeah, sometimes smaller list for the day, or you can even break it up. Do a little list in the morning. Once you finish that stuff, you can work on the stuff for the afternoon. And we can kind of work on it together if that's helpful.
Yeah, that'd be really helpful.
All right, cool. So you said you're having a hard time waking up and then also getting to class. Is that new for you? Were you able to go to class in the past?
Uh, Sometimes, but it has been something this year, that I've been having trouble with.
Okay. Why do you think it's been more difficult this year?
Sometimes I forget to set my alarm, or other times I set my alarm, but I hit snooze without knowing it.
Hmm.
Um, you know, my advisor told me to set an alarm maybe across the room might help.
Idea.
Um, she sends me reminders, but I still sometimes just can't get up.
Hmm. I understand that. Sometimes setting it across the room is good. That can be helpful. Sometimes even setting an alarm that's a fun song that you kind of like to dance to. This way you wake up and you're maybe in a bit of a better mood, or it can wake you up a little bit more than just the um, kind of annoying alarm sound that you might hear every morning. Do you live with anybody, Julie?
Nope, it's just me. I used to live with my boyfriend at the time and my roommate at the time, but then we all separated and now we live by ourselves.
Okay. So when you used to live with them, were they able to help you get up in the morning?
All the time. All the time they'd be yelling at me. They'd say, "Julie, get up. You have to get up for school." And they'd yell up the steps, and then they'd come up the steps, and they would help me a lot to make sure I was getting up for class.
Okay. They sound like really supportive friends. That's awesome. I wonder if there is something we can do now that's kind of similar to that, if that worked for you. Um, do you have any friends that you're in contact with that you know might be awake in the morning that could actually give you a phone call?
Yeah, I think my one friend can. I think he'd be willing to do that.
Okay, great. Good. So we'll add that to the to-do list. So if you could actually write some stuff down, I'm going to write it too, and then I'm going to send it to you on Google Voice as a text message before we leave today.
Yeah, that would be good. I'll make a note. Let me grab some paper.
Okay, perfect. So let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
The first thing is reach out to your doctor to talk about the medications and why, and if they might be making it difficult for you to wake up in the morning.
Can you repeat the last part?
Hmm. So it's to speak to your doctor about your medication and if those could possibly be the reason it's difficult for you to wake up in the morning.
All right, perfect.
Great. And then the second thing was to how do you normally communicate with this friend? Do you see him in person? Do you call him? Do you text him?
We call and text.
Okay. Are you going to call him later today?
I am. Yeah, we talk every night.
Okay, perfect. So then the second thing would be when you speak to this friend tonight, ask if he can actually call you on the days that you have class as an extra wake up call.
All right, I'm gonna put wake up call, and I'll ask tonight.
Perfect.
All right, I'll write that down.
Great. Thank you. How's the rest of your semester going aside from the difficulty getting to class?
I think good so far. I'm really excited for next year. I'll graduate next year, but I have to get to class in order to come back
Mhm.
next year.
That is really exciting. So let's see. We'll check in, see how it works with the wake up call. If it doesn't work, we can talk about what else might. Um, and we'll go from there because it's really important to get to class, especially because I know that you do want to graduate. Um, how are you feeling about your assignments and your ability to communicate with professors so far?
I think it's really hard. Some of the words are really big in my class.
Okay.
Um, but and now I have some work to make up, but I'll do it and I'm gonna get it done because I want to graduate next year.
Okay. Good. So, what else about the homework can be difficult? Do you have anything that was already due that you had a hard time getting in on time?
Yeah, there was a first assignment, and then there was a test I think I already missed. I have to check. I have to check Canvas.
Okay. Are you able to check Canvas now?
I can.
Okay.
Let
Why don't you go ahead and do that? And then we can go from there. Let me know if you can find it. If you want to share your screen, you can. You don't have to.
Let me pull it up. I couldn't really find some of the information. Let me see. But it looks like it's one assignment. Let me see, one assignment and then one test that I need to make up.
Okay. When was the assignment due?
I think it was due last week.
Last week. Okay. And what was the assignment?
I have to look over. Let me see, I'm pulling it up. I have to look over chapters
Look over chapters in your textbook.
and answer questions.
Okay. Do you have the textbook?
I do. I finally got the textbook.
Okay, great.
My brother ordered it on Amazon.
Gotcha. Sometimes it can take a while to come in, so I'm glad that you have it.
Yep,
you
I have
started-
it.
Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I have it, and I just have to sit down and read it. But some of the words are big, so I'm going to go to accessibility services so they can put the reader on my computer.
Oh, that's a great idea. I think is that the same thing your classmate was mentioning the other day when we all had group together?
Yep, I just have to go. I guess I can add that to my to-do list.
Yep, perfect. That's the exact kind of thing that you can add to a to-do list. When
Yep.
is the next time that you can go to the accessibility center?
I'll be back on campus on Tuesday, so I should be able to go Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Okay. And today is Friday. The assignment was due last week. Let's see. Do you have the ability to call the access center instead of going in to make the appointment?
Yeah, I can call her. I have her phone number.
Okay, perfect. So let's put that on the to-do list to call as opposed to going in first. Because you mentioned earlier that you feel overwhelmed with your assignments, especially when they're late and they start to pile on. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Mhm. This way, if you can call, what do you have going on for the rest of the day today, actually?
I don't think I have anything going on. I might do some wash. That's it.
Okay, perfect. So why don't you call, I believe her name is Rebecca at the Accessibility Center. You can call by the end of the day today, double check their hours. This way you can make that appointment, right? Because if you wait till next Tuesday to make the appointment, even if they can get you in on Wednesday, it might take longer to actually get it all downloaded on your computer, and then you can't really start your assignment until then. And since it was due last week, this way, the sooner you can start, the sooner you can finish, and the less overwhelmed you can feel.
Yep, I'll do that today.
Perfect. Perfect. How are you doing with the social aspect of the semester? Are you going to events? Are you seeing friends from school, friends outside of school? How's that all going?
Sometimes my friends come over to my apartment. But with the pandemic, everything's been shut down and things, so we're hoping to get together again soon at my apartment.
Okay, awesome. How many friends would you have over?
Probably about 5 of them.
Good. You've known them for a long time?
Oh, forever, it feels like.
Oh, that's awesome. Are these some of the people that you call on a pretty regular basis, like the one that you mentioned earlier, who's going to give you those wake up calls?
Yep, sometimes he comes too. It's a whole group of us.
That's awesome. I'm happy that you guys are in the process of planning something. I know COVID was really difficult for a lot of people, and you mentioned it was difficult for you too.
Yeah, I was living on my own for the first time in a while, and it was just me and my cat.
Hmm. I get that. You see my cat pop up in Zoom all the time. She's actually running around right now. So it's good company, but it's not quite the same. It's not
It's
quite.
talking to a real person.
Yes. Yep. And if your cat starts to talk back, maybe call that doctor. Okay, great. So before we end, I'm just going to send you a quick text message from my Google Voice number with a to-do list. I know you wrote it down, but this way you have it on here and I can see it too. And then if you could, once you get the text message, let me know. Okay, I went ahead and sent it.
Yep, I got it.
Perfect. Everything makes sense?
No, it does. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Once you get those things completed, do you think you could send me a text message back and let me know?
Yep, I can.